hope the Minister too will accept the arguments.
My Lords, I rise very briefly to offer Green support for both of these amendments 212 and 213, where the preference for 213, which, as I think this debate has made clear, is the stronger of them. Now, I returned to the committee after 2 weeks away from your Lordship's house at the COP26 climate talks. And there we were hearing again and again about the need for evidence-based policy making in terms of climate. And it's very clear from the powerful introductions from the Noble Lord Ponsonby and the Noble Lord Dubs and all of the subsequent debate that the evidence here is very clearly that short prison sentences do not work. And I would very much agree with the comment of the Noble Lord Beath about, in responding to the Noble Lord Panic, that yes, those words are there in the sentencing code, but clearly we need to strengthen this prescription. And I'll just refer to the figures from 2019, when there were over 44,000 prison sentences of less than 6 months handed out. That was nearly half of all people sent to prison, 68% reoffended within a year of release, and when you look at theft offenders, that's 82%. And 2/3 of the women in prison are serving a sentence of less than 6 months. Now, like other noble lords, I'm going to go to the excellent group Revolving Doors and a direct quote from the experience of one person subjected to indeed a whole succession of short sentences. And this is Robert, and I quote, "Any support with drugs and alcohol I had in the community disappeared when I went to prison. I didn't access any support in prison, and there was certainly no placing for support when I was released." Now, very briefly, I also want to refer to the reference about children in 212, and particularly to the report of the Joint Committee on Human Rights, the report entitled Human Rights and the Government's Responses to COVID-19, Children Whose Mothers Are in Prison. Now, that report indicated that the government doesn't have clear figures on the numbers of women in children who are separated from dependent children, and that report recommended that the government undertake a census and ask all women coming into prison whether they actually have dependent children and what ages they are, and that those figures be collated and reported regularly. So either now or in the future, can the Noble Lord the Minister tell me if that recommendation from the Joint Committee on Human Rights has been acted upon?
I support both of these amendments, but I wanted to add just